Thank you. My name is Dr. Wilke Foy. I lecture in the School of Nursing and Public Health. In this project, we were looking at creating an interactive digital data bank to support teaching and learning of our students. In the team, we had Saif Kinyole, we had Dr. Jonathan Kadenge, we also had Dr. Moses Kadhuri. Generally, the aim of the project was to help us acquire skills necessary for creating a digital data bank to support online learning and teaching. And generally, we are looking at developing an interactive module and also using simple technology to support the learning process. Emergence of COVID-19 came about with numerous challenges, especially in the education sector. In fact, led to the intermittent closure of learning institutions, and that necessitated or led to the need for institutions of higher learning to come up with alternatives for face-to-face learning. In that case, the problem led to the need for strengthening online learning. And therefore, this project was aiming at addressing that challenge of the COVID-19 era and also beyond.
Yes, so some of the key skills we have acquired as a team is creation of online digital module, especially with inclusivity. We have also been able to acquire the skill of creating a storyboard, writing the scripts, and making sure that we can audit and see the scripts fit actually into an educational context. Also, we have been able to understand the concept of creating audiovisual materials. This includes creating the content, editing the content, filtering it, and making sure it fits.
The project has been very successful because as we speak, we have been able to create or to develop one interactive learning module that will support the learning of our students. Secondly, we have been able to create 3 interactive audio visuals. Then we have also been able to create 3 storyboards. We have also been able to identify open education resources that we have used in our database to support the learning. And we have also been able to use the Open Create platform as the database that we are actually using to share the resources with our students. Yeah, we have put in consideration the aspect of inclusivity in that we have been able to use a variety of instruction formats. Like we have used audios, we have used videos, we have used graphics, we have used descriptive links. The major challenge we faced was on the license limitation, because in some cases we could identify appropriate and very good open education resources, but unfortunately we are limited in terms of their use and reuse. In that case, we had to seek for permission from the copyright owners. And as we speak, we have not received feedback on some of the requests that we had made. These are projects that is going to have a very huge impact, more particularly to the student in the field of health science. Like here in our university, the course we developed is a common course being undertaken by the students undertaking nursing, those undertaking public health, and those undertaking nutrition. So this particular course will be very useful for the ongoing students and those who will also be joining the university in the future. These materials will also be very useful to all the health professionals because they can use the materials as a way of continuous medical education. We will be looking forward to create educational resources for all the other courses to support each of the programs. Teamwork is key. especially in any project, defining the key members of the team is very, very, very important in terms of determining the success, because the combination I had worked so well for me. Secondly, it became also very clear that you can actually use simple technology to support learning. Normally we think about the use of very sophisticated equipment, but what came out in this project that you can use very simple technology like the use of mobile phone to support learning through the creation of audio visuals. And lastly, and I think this goes to all the educators, I think it is very, very important for us as educators to be very flexible. In this case, I mean that we need to be able to adapt to changes quickly. And this will be very, very useful in terms of helping us to embrace the changes we need to ensure we deliver quality content to our students.
So looking at the screen here, we have the course description, we have the course content and the course review. So if I click on the course content, we can see we have the topics that have actually been discussed in this learning module. And then here we have the course description, and the course description starts with an introduction and guidance. And this is an introduction that introduces the learners to the course. And then below it, we have the course learning outcomes. There we go, the course learning outcomes. And then we have an introductory video here that again introduces the student to the course. And this is a video that was developed by the project team. And then below it, we have an acknowledgement. And in the acknowledgement, we have acknowledged all the people who contributed to the development of the materials that have been used here. And most importantly is you have captured the license under which the materials may be used. And you have provided a link for the Creative Commons license for those who require further details on the same. Then below it now we have the course content. We have the different topics and some topics. And ideally we'll just take you through a few of the topics just to see how they have been developed. For example, we have the principles of nutrition here. We have an introduction to the section. We have the learning outcomes, and then we have the specific subtopics. Like here we have the characteristics of a healthy diet, a concept that is well discussed, as you can see here. And then below it, we have another video that the team created. And then below each of the topics, then we have an interactive quiz for the student to assess their understanding about the materials that have been provided. And I'll just quickly take you through. And these are questions that have used different formats. We have, for example, the first question here is a multiple choice question. And we'll just fill the questions so that we are able to see what happens when the student submit their responses. So just click the next page. That was a multiple response. The second question here is a true and false question. So again, I'll just tick on one of the responses. And then we have the matching question here, where the student are supposed to match each of the description with the term it describes. So I'm just going to randomly select, like that. Then we have here, like that, so just randomly, just to see the kind of feedback the student will receive. Then we have another type of question here that involves selecting a missing word. Like in this case, I have a number of terms here that I need to select the most appropriate. So maybe select one term here. Then I move to the next page. And as we can see, now we have a short answer question where the student can actually type. So just type something there. And then I move to the next page. Then you have the last question here, which is an essay question, where the student can actually type in their responses here, or they can actually upload a file and submit for gradings. So once the student have finished the quiz, they can click on the finish attempt, and then you can see the answers that have been responded to, and one question have not been responded, and then they need to submit the attempt, and then you can see they're able to receive feedback on their performance. Yeah, there we go. You can see. You see, there is the correct and the correct responses, and then they can finish the review. The other thing I needed to mention is on the attribution of open education resources. For example, if you look at this topic here, co-nutrients, if I just go to some of the sections, like here, we click on the maltose, and you can see we have the structure of maltose, which have been appropriately been attributed. So the license have been indicated, have been provided, and the author of the structure have been appropriately acknowledged. Still in the course, we just go below there. We have the references, and we also have another section on further reading materials. And this is a section that now provides our learners with additional open education resources just to enhance their understanding about the course. And we have a number of textbooks here that the student can actually use. And all they actually need is to click on the textbook they wish to look at, and then that will take them to a link, and they will be able to see the textbook, and they can be able to get further details. And you can see this is actually an open education resource that can actually be used by our students.